Hello everyone and welcome to the Kiki London YouTube channel. My name's Amanda and in today's video we're going to be looking at how to apply foils to create a spring floral foil design. So I really hope you all enjoy watching. Now I wanted the base of this set to actually be a cat's eye gel polish. So I'm going to be using the beautiful liquid gold, but we're not necessarily going to be using it for the cat's eye magnetic effect that you create with your magnet. We're just going to be using it on its own as a straight color, if that makes sense. So I'm going to come in and apply 2 coats of this. So this is what 1 coat looks like, and then we're going to cure that for 30 seconds. Now, of course, if you was doing this on yourself or on a client working on the natural nails, you would need to come in and do all of your prep first of all and apply your base coat. I do have a dedicated prep video up on the channel, so I will leave that linked in the description box below. So we're going to then come in and apply our second coat, and as you can see, it has this beautiful champagne shade and it's still got a really pretty effect in it, even when you don't come in and play around with those magnetic particles. So now that we've got our base ready for our foils, we're going to come in and apply our foils, and I'm going to be using the beautiful Floral Mix foil pack from Kiki London. So this is on our website. I will leave it linked in the description box below, along with all of the other products that we're going to be using in today's video. So I was just going through showing you a few of the foils in this pack that I think are perfect for spring. Of course, you can use these whatever season you're in, but these ones especially I find I like for spring in the UK, but there are some beautiful ones in here that work well for summer, autumn and winter as well, depending on the look you're wanting. Now I'm going to cut out my first foil, and then to apply your foil you're going to need the Kiki London foil gel, and I highly recommend having the silicone tool to hand as well. So we're going to come in and straight over our cured gel polish we're going to apply our layer of foil gel. So I'm going to apply a thin coat of this to all of the nail, making sure we're getting right around the edges of the nail as well. So similar to when you would cap the free edge, we're going to make sure we're doing that with our foil. We then cured that for 30 seconds. I'm then going to place my foil down onto that cured foil gel. Now after the foil gel cures, it feels super sticky, so it grabs straight on to your foil. Once you've got it placed down where you want it to go on the nail, you want to start rubbing it with your thumb to begin with, just to make sure it's stuck down nicely. And then I like to switch to the silicone tool to start easing out any creases. I kind of find it's a little bit easier than doing it with your thumb or your fingers, because you can really rub backwards and forwards and edge out those creases without kind of pulling up the foil or moving the foil around. I just find it a bit of an easier way. I do then still like to go over with my thumb and fingers, just so I can actually feel that it's made good contact with your cured foil gel. And making sure, because we're doing a full coverage foil here, that this has stuck down everywhere. And then I'm going to slowly start peeling that foil back. And the reason I peel it back slowly is because then if you need to go down, or if there's any areas that haven't fully covered, you can lay that foil back down, give it another rub, and then slowly peel off. Once you have got your foil applied and you've peeled off and you're happy with it, of course you need to come in and seal it in. So I'm going to seal this in using the no wipe top coat. You can use any of the top coats, and a lot of the time when I'm working with nail art I will recommend using the rubber top coat, but I just wanted to show you guys that the no wipe top coat and the crystal top coat or matte top coat will seal these in beautifully. So this is what the first nail looks like, where we've got our beautiful cat's eye base and a full cover foil over the top. On to the next nail, we're going to do similar, but we're going to finish off with a French. But it's kind of going to be, so usually when I do a foil French, I will have the foils on the French tip part of the nail, but I thought it'd be cool this time around to have the foil pattern on the nail bed area. So we have already got our 2 coats of liquid gold on the nail, and I'm then coming in with my foil gel again, applying a thin coat of this to the entire nail, making sure we get right along those edges, so that if any of the foil is going to cover the tips or the edges of the nail, that it's going to transfer nicely. I did accidentally place this foil down wrong, so I had to very gently pull it off and then reposition it. So we're going to place it straight down onto the nail. I'm going to rub over it with my thumb and fingers and then switch to using the silicone tool to edge out any creases. Now, when you are working on, say, a built up nail where you've built up the apex either using builder gel or sculpting gel, you kind of get a few more creases than if you're going in over the top of the natural nail where it's a bit more flatter. So that's especially where I find it great to have the silicone tool to hand to ease out any of those creases. Now, different foils can be a little bit trickier to apply. I would say these foils are a little bit harder to apply than, say, the metallic foils. Metallic foils grab on to the foil gel super easy, whereas with the floral foils or any kind of pattern full cover print foils, you do need to go in and give it a good rub to help transfer off that image onto the nail. But as you can see, after a few rubs going in with our thumb and our fingers and the silicone tool, you get really good coverage. So again, we're going to seal this one in with a layer of top coat, and the reason I'm sealing it in is because I'm going to do nail art over the top. There's always that chance that you could make a mistake with your nail art and you need to come in with, say, some alcohol or some acetone to clean up, and that will also remove your foil. So if you're going to do any kind of nail art over the top, whether it be hand painted nail art, stamping, water decals, anything like that you're going to be layering over the top, I would recommend sealing in your foil first of all before coming in with anything else. That way, if you make any mistakes and you've got to rub it off, you can rub it off without removing your foil and then having to go through and reapply that. So as I mentioned on this now, I'm going to come in and do a French tip. So I'm going to use the new Kiki London white gel paint for this. This has become my favorite product for doing a French, just because it's super highly pigmented that you only have to go in and do one coat, which makes French so much easier. So of course I'm going to be using my French brush to do this. I always find the French brush works best when you've loaded it up with a generous amount of product and worked it through the bristles of the brush. And then I just go in, place that French brush flat down onto the nail, pull it out to the tip, flip it over, do the other side, and then I use the long part of the brush to pull down and create the wings or the side walls of that French. Then I'm just coming in and neatening this up, looking at it from all angles, making sure that I'm happy with how it looks. And then I always like to come in, if I'm not happy with how it's looking, with the round nail art brush and a little bit of alcohol to sharpen and clean up the edges. And this is where it's really important that we top coated that foil, because right now if that foil wasn't top coated and I started going in with alcohol or acetone to clean up the French tip, it would start removing the foil, which would then look disastrous. So just by putting that thin coat of a top coat down and sealing in your foil before moving on to the next step, it means a lot. It makes the design work so much better. So we then did come in and top coat the nail to seal in our gel paint, and we're going to move on to the third nail. Now this particular nail was a little bit of an experiment. So what I basically wanted to do was to see how the foils would look with a clear tip end. So I'm going to come in with a layer of base coat so that we've got a clear layer down on our nail, because you wouldn't ideally apply foils directly onto the nail plate. You would always apply them on top of your coloured gel polish. But of course, because on this design I'm wanting to go for a clear look, we haven't got that coloured gel polish there, and where I'm working on display tips, I'm going to do the base coat, so we've got a layer down. If you was doing this on the natural nail, or say ideally if you were going to do a design like this, it would work best where you have either applied tips or sculpting forms and extended the free edge to give you a clear tip, and then you would come in and just apply your foils directly over the top of that. But because we're working on display tips, I applied the layer of base coat. This would look brilliant though in a sculpted set of nails, which is something I might try now I've played around with this technique. So I applied my foil gel same as before. I've taken this beautiful purple floral design and I'm just going to go in with those same steps. But also what I wanted to do on this nail, which was a bit of an experiment, was ombre that cat's eye over this foil from the cuticle area down. Now I have done ombre foils before, but not with a clear tip and not with the cat's eye. So that's why it was a little bit of an experiment, and I did like how it turned out, but let me know in the comments below what you thought of this design. So here you can see why I slowly peel back my foil, because if you start peeling it back and you notice a piece hasn't fully transferred, you can lay it back down and then give it another rub, and then you'll be able to get that full transfer. Where if you rip it off really quickly and you have got areas that haven't transferred, it's a lot harder to line it up and get that pattern to transfer again. Now I did seal this in again with a layer of top coat, but I used a different top coat here. This top coat is not a no wipe top coat, so it leaves behind a tacky inhibition layer, and I thought that would just be a bit easier for creating our ombre look. Now, this is where it was a little tricky. So I'm going to come in with my thin coat of Cat's Eye down at the cuticle area and pull it down to roughly halfway down the nail bed area. And then I'm going to start blending that together with the tacky inhibition layer that was left behind from that top coat. Now, the reason this was a little bit tricky is because the way Cat's Eye, this particular Cat's Eye gel polish works, it is a little bit more on the sheerer side, and again, when you're moving and playing around with Cat's Eye gel polish, it's got those magnetic particles in it, so it creates a little bit of an uneven look. So I did have to experiment here to get this to look how I wanted it to. So I ended up doing it in 3 super thin coats, but on that third coat I don't really play around with the blend so much. So here I'm going to come in and do my second coat, and what I'm going to do here is apply my Cat's Eye gel polish down at the cuticle area and pull it to roughly halfway up the nail. But then on the tip of the nail I'm going to come in with a layer of top coat. So what this is basically going to do is going to give us a product to blend together. So I didn't do this on the first step, but I thought I would try it on the second, and it definitely makes that ombre a little bit easier because you're able to have something to blend the products together, and it's going to soften that harsh line. So I'm going in with my ombre brush, going from side to side to gently start blending those colors together, and then this did create a more seamless blend, and I loved the way it looked. It looks as though you've got those beautiful purple florals coming out from the liquid gold, and I really loved it. So at this point I was kind of happy how the ombre looked, but I felt as though I needed a little bit more coverage up at that nail bed area. Now if I was to do this again, I probably would actually do 1 coat of a light cream shade, like a nude, and then come in and do the Cat's Eye over the top, because the lighter cream shade would cover up the foil. Because this was my only issue here on the second coat, was that I didn't have enough coverage showing the flower down at the cuticle area. So if I'd had a gel polish shade down first, I could have eliminated needing to do a third coat here, but I just come in and do a super thin third coat. But I don't really play around with this coat, I just blend out the tip ever so slightly because I don't want to start moving the magnetic effect this in there. I wanted to keep it like a solid pearlescent finish. Now you can see, because we've gone in and out with our brush, you do have a few brush strokes. It kind of looks a little bit uneven. Don't stress with this, because once you've cured it and then you're going to come in and do your layer of top coat, this is going to smooth everything out anyway. So I float on a layer of top coat when I've got anything that's a little bit uneven, or you could go in with the rubber top coat instead, which is a little bit thicker, so it helps smooth out any unevenness. If I go in with a top coat that I floated on, I'll hold the nail upside down for a few seconds to help speed up its self-leveling. We then popped it into cure, and I really loved how this look turned out. So I decided to stick with the clear effect for the fourth nail. Originally I had a different design in mind of layering 2 foils, but I thought, no, you know what, I really love how the foils look over a clear base. So this time we're going to do a full clear nail. So I've done my layer of a base coat, and then we're going to come in and do our foil gel and apply our foils. Now of course, if you was doing this on yourself, you would have the natural nail bed color coming through, but my idea would be, again, you'd do this on a sculpted clear set of nails. So you'd come in, apply your base coat, then either apply your tips or your forms and sculpt or tip extend your nail and create a clear base, then come in and do these steps, and it'd give a really pretty crystal clear sculpted tip, but then you'd have that beautiful floral foil over the top. It's definitely an idea that I now want to try out now that I've seen how the foils look over a clear tip, and I really love it. I think it looks really pretty, especially for spring. So here we've cut out this beautiful yellow and blue floral. I don't know the names of these flowers, by the way, but I thought this one looked lovely for spring. There's been lots of yellow and blues popping up. So I've pressed down my foil, always go in with my thumb and fingers. I feel as though the warmth from your body temperature helps also transfer foils on. And that's another thing that I wanted to mention as well. When you pop your foil gel into cure, you want to come in and apply your foils straight away when they come out of the lamp, because I feel as though the warmth from curing the foil gel also helps get you a really good transfer. There are quite a few foil videos up on the channel, but it's been a little while since we've done one, so I thought spring, new season was the perfect time to do one. But if you've missed any of the previous videos and you have any questions on foils, foil application, getting the perfect coverage, that kind of stuff, then pop them in the comments below and I will do my best to help. So again, on this now, I come in and top coated to seal in our foil, and then over the top of this I kind of wanted to do like a framed edging. I did this on the previous video with water decals, and we done like a lilac-y base with our water decals over the top, and then I went in with the metallic gold paint and did this similar edging. So I wanted to kind of do that again, but this time obviously we've got the foil base and I'm going to use the white gel paint instead of the metallic gold. But this is really simple to do, but it just adds something extra to the nail design. So I've taken my stripe liner brush, loaded it up with some of the white gel paint, and then I'm just going around the edge of the nail. Now you can do this as a straight smooth frame, which looks really pretty as well, or you can come in and do kind of like a swirly, wonky sort of shape, which is a little bit easier to do because you haven't got to stress about getting a crisp straight line. But I really liked how this looked with the florals. I think it looked a little bit nicer and a little bit more delicate than a sharp straight edged frame. And again, the great thing about doing this with the white gel paint is that it's super pigmented, so it's going to completely cover up any of the foil that you go over. You're not going to see any of that foil pattern coming through the white gel paint. So just going around and edging this, and then once I'm happy with how this is looking, you can come in and clean up if you need to, because you've sealed in your foil underneath. I didn't need to. I felt as though I was quite happy with how this looked. I do come around on certain areas, I think, and thicken up some of the curves just to make them pop a little bit more and to make it not look super smooth. But if you did need to come in, you could come in and clean up the same as what you did with the French design, because you've sealed in that foil, you're not going to have to worry about removing any of it. And then once I was happy with how this looked, I've popped that in to cure for 60 seconds. And then all we need to do for this final design is come in and top coat. I was just showing there, I was moving my thumb to show how cool it looked having that clear tip. I really loved how this design looked. I'm definitely going to try out some clear tips with sculpting gel and foil, so hopefully I'll record that. Let me know if that's a video you would like to see, and again as well, if you have any requests, pop them in the comments below. But this was the finished look for today's video. I absolutely loved how these turned out and it was really fun to do. So if you did enjoy the video, please do give the video a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and hit that subscription button if you haven't already, and then I shall see you all again in the next video. Lots of love, take care, bye bye.